All right, let's just jump right in. We need to talk about the big question, the one that probably keeps a lot of us up at night once we hit our mid-40s. You've built a career, you've got responsibilities, but that retirement fund? Maybe it's not quite where you hoped it would be. So is that dream of a comfortable, financially free retirement still on the table? Well, in this explainer, we're not just going to say yes. We're going to hand you the exact number-by-number blueprint to make it happen.
So let's just put the question right out there, the one you're probably thinking. At 45, is it actually too late to build a multi-crore retirement fund in just 15 years? I get it. It can feel like you're standing at the bottom of a mountain in a race against the clock. But you know what? The answer isn't about some kind of financial magic. It's about math and discipline. And we're going to walk through that math together, step by step, so you can see for yourself exactly how this is possible.
Now, to get real, useful answers, we need to agree on the rules of the game. So, let's set the stage. Our entire plan is built on these three numbers. Your current age is 45, you're planning to retire at 60, and we're assuming a very real and very sneaky annual inflation rate of 6%. These are the fundamentals for our whole financial game plan.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the retirement puzzle at 45. Then, we'll face the inflation monster head-on. After that, we'll calculate your magic number, build your money machine, and lay out your action plan with SIPs. And we'll wrap it all up with some pro tips and the final takeaway. Let's get to it.
First things first, we have to talk about the inflation monster. I like to call it the silent thief, because it's quietly working in the background day after day, stealing the value of your hard-earned cash. If you don't get a handle on this, any retirement plan you make is basically built on sand. So let's tackle this beast first.
Let's start with a number we can all relate to. Let's say, just for example, that your total monthly expenses right now are 50,000 rupees. That's everything. Your home loan, groceries, the bills, maybe a nice dinner out. This is our starting point. The lifestyle you have now that you'd like to keep when you retire.
So how does that $50,000 today turn into, well, something else entirely? It's all because of this simple formula. It takes what you spend now, our $50,000, and applies that 6% inflation over 15 years. This isn't a guess. This is the hard math that's going to define your retirement reality.
And what's the result of that math? Your 50,000 rupees a month turns into 1.2 lakhs per month by the time you hit 60. Yeah, more than double. This right here is exactly why just putting money in a savings account is a losing game. You absolutely have to invest to outrun this silent thief.
Okay, so if you're going to need 1.2 lakhs every single month just to live, what's the total amount you need to have saved up? This is the fun part. This is where we calculate your magic number. That's the final corpus, the big nest egg that's going to fund your entire retirement.
Now, when it comes to this, financial planners usually take one of two roads. The growth engine method works on the idea that your money keeps growing and working for you even after you retire. Then there's the safety first method, which is way more cautious. It assumes your returns will pretty much just keep up with inflation. And believe me, the road you choose makes a huge difference to your target number.
So if we go down the growth engine path where your money is still in the game, the targets look like this. For that 50,000 rupee lifestyle, you need a corpus of 1.78 crores. If your current monthly expenses are closer to 75,000, that number jumps to 2.68 crores. And for a 1 lakh lifestyle today, you're aiming for a target of 3.57 crores.
Now, just so you see the difference, if you chose that super cautious safety first road, the numbers are way bigger because you're building in a massive safety cushion. For our plan today, we're going to stick with the more common growth engine method, but it's really important to know you have options, depending on how much risk you're comfortable with. Okay, so we have our target, 1.78 crores. Now for the real question, how on earth do we build that in just 15 years? Well, you're not just saving, you're building a money machine. So let's look at the parts, the tools that are going to power this thing.
Think of your investment choices like a fleet of cars. First, you've got your large cap funds. These are like your steady, reliable sedan. They invest in the biggest, most established companies and give you a solid 10% average return. Then you have the mid-cap funds. That's your sporty SUV. More power, higher growth, maybe a 12% return, but a bit of a bumpier ride. And finally, you have hybrid funds, the reliable hatchback that mixes stocks and bonds for a smoother journey, averaging around 8%. So you don't just pick one, you combine them for the best result. Most experts suggest a balanced portfolio that looks something like this: 50% in that steady sedan, the large caps, 30% in the sporty SUV, the mid caps, and 20% in the smooth-riding hybrid funds. This mix is designed to give you good growth while smoothing out the market's inevitable ups and downs over 15 years. You're looking at a blended return of about 10.4%.
Now, before we get to the final monthly numbers, we absolutely have to talk about the secret ingredient that makes this whole thing work. It's called compounding, and honestly, it is your money's superpower. The snowball analogy is perfect. Your investment starts small, but as it rolls downhill over 15 years, it just keeps picking up more snow, getting bigger and bigger, faster and faster. This is the force that does all the heavy lifting for you.
All right, this is it. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're about to lay out your monthly SIP. That's your systematic investment plan. This is the exact amount of money you need to put away automatically every single month to hit your goal.
Let's stick with our goal of 1.78 crores. If you were a real risk taker and went all in on mid-caps, you'd need to invest about 35,630 rupees a month. If you were more conservative and stuck to large caps, it'd be closer to 42,950. See? Our recommended balanced portfolio lands you right in the middle, at 40,500 rupees per month.
So let's just make this crystal clear. Here is your plan on a platter. For that 50,000 rupee lifestyle to get to a 1.78 crore corpus, your monthly investment is 40,500. For the 75,000 rupee lifestyle, it's 61,000 a month. And for the 1 lakh lifestyle, you need to invest 81,500 every month. That's it. These are your numbers. This is your personal blueprint to financial freedom.
Now that you have the core plan, let's talk about a few pro tips. Think of these as little cheats or hacks that can help you master the journey and maybe even get to your goal a little bit easier.
Check this out. What if you're not starting from absolute zero? Maybe you have a bonus or some savings, say 10 lakhs. Without it, your monthly SIP is 40,500. But look what happens when you invest that 10 lakhs right at the start. Your required monthly investment plummets to just 29,500. That's an extra 11,000 rupees back in your pocket every single month. That's the power of a head start.
And here are 3 more things you absolutely have to do. 1. Build an emergency fund before you start investing seriously. I'm talking at least 6 months of your expenses, sitting in a separate, easy-to-reach account. Think of it as your financial fire extinguisher. It stops you from having to sell your investments when life happens. 2. Use what's called a step-up SIP. This just means you increase your investment amount by 5 or 10% every year when you get a raise. This is the single best way to turbocharge your savings. And finally, look into ELSS funds. These are tax-saving funds that let you invest and reduce your tax bill at the same time.
I know, that was a ton of information, but honestly, it all boils down to these 5 simple, straightforward steps. Number 1, calculate your target. 2, choose your investment mix. 3, open your account with a fund house or platform. 4, set up that auto-debit SIP so the whole thing runs on autopilot. And 5, just once a year, take a look and rebalance your portfolio. That's it. You follow these steps and you are on the path.
So if you only take away one single thing from all of this, let it be this 3-part mantra. Start now. The biggest mistake you can make is waiting for the perfect time. Stay consistent, month after month, even when the market gets scary. And finally, let compounding do the heavy lifting for you. Time and discipline, that's your unbeatable formula for success.
And we'll end on this one thought. You've probably heard it before, but it's so true. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. At 45, your now is incredibly powerful. You have the plan, you have the numbers, you have the tools. The only question left is, are you going to plant your tree today?